all branded and ready to roll. Want to host or producer on?
Yeah. Yeah. Be on the vow, where the truth is real. Faith and love, yeah, that's the deal. WC and Maria, bringing that glow. Tuesday nights is the show you gotta know.
Love ain't a moment, it's a movement we found. Beyond the vows, where the real talk sounds. From single to married, decades deep. Together we rise, where the promise is key.
Lessons and laughter, faith in the mix. Every story a bond, every challenge a fix.
SKST,
Tune in, don't be late.
7 p.m.
Fan trip,
Let's elevate. So come vibe with us.
Hey, babes. How you doing? I said, how you doing? I'm doing too. I'm doing good. Good. Hey, welcome to Beauty and the Vows. So I've been watching Disney. Welcome to Beyond the Vows. I'm your host, W.C. Brown, and my not co-host, my host. Oh yeah, because you're my rib, right? So that would make you co, right? Without host, co-host, right? So
Well, get on with it.
okay, all right. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us here every Tuesday here at SKST TV Radio Studios here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I gotta lean over. She trying to touch me underneath the table.
Oh my God.
So, hey.
Y'all don't believe a word he says, okay?
Don't listen to her. Listen, we're so happy you joined us. Babe, how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, I gotta tell you, before I tell you this fantastic thing that just happened to us, we want to shout out our sponsor, which is deafhopechild.org. deafchildhope.org. Deaf Child Hope is an organization that takes young children who are in poverty, and not only are they in poverty, but they are deaf. We are fortunate to have a child that we sponsor, and you can sponsor a child as well on but you can sponsor a child at deafhopechild.org and go there today. We say it every week. Go there today and just see how you can help one of these amazing kids. And a little later on, we'll show you some of the kids on the screen. So that's a plug for our Deaf Child Hope. So listen, I want to tell you guys, okay, so I have on something special today because I was treated really special. And I'm not talking about the little yellow bus. So let me just show y'all something. I can get it. So, see that? I was a VIP. I was a VIP this weekend. And I'm going to wear this because my honey pie, she made me a VIP this past weekend. So I'm having surgery soon. We have hip replacement. And she wanted to do something to help me get my mind off of my surgery, And then some other things happened. So she treated me to a resort this past weekend. Yes, it was nice. We had a living room. We had a coffee maker. We had a microwave, a refrigerator. That's anyway. Honey, I thank you. I thank you. Lord, I thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Maria, I thank you for all the days of my life. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. Only thing is she wouldn't get in the pool because I don't know what. And then they had breakfast every morning, and the breakfast was pretty good.
Breakfast.
A full breakfast. They sure did. It was very good.
Did you mention we were by the beach?
And we were right on the balcony was right over the beach, and it was cold, because it was supposed to snow.
Not for the first couple of days, though.
Well, first couple of days, yeah, and then so we had a marvelous time, and I'm got used to it now. I'm spoiled. I'm ready for the next one, which tells me y'all need to do this too. Y'all need to go on these, take these, surprise your spouse, but surprise them with something that they're gonna like. Okay. Because there's nothing worse getting a surprise about something that you don't like. Am I right?
Amen.
What?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Okay, yeah. Because I've been on the giving part of that. So listen, so next week I'm having surgery. I'm going to have hip replacement, and let me just tell y'all something. If you have to have surgery, do not look at it on the internet because it'll mess your mind up. Man, when they start cutting, I tell you when it's cutting the leg and it was hammering his, yeah, that wasn't good. But I didn't want no surprises, But if somebody said, you'll be out anyway, I won't be able to hear it, but at least I'll know. So anyway, keep us in your prayers as the surgery is successful, that I'll be coming out soon, strong, vibrant, and running my wife down the street without any pain. That's what I want to do. So honey, tonight, you guys, we look at things and we write them down, make sure because if you write things down, you can always go back to it later on rather than trying to, say things from memory and stuff like that. So it's good to write things down. Just like the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. So write your marital plan and make it plain. That way when things go south or west or east or north, or if they go north, that's pretty good. But if they go wrong, go back and just look at, what did we commit ourselves to? Right to? So tonight we want to talk about growing in grace. Okay, I'm not talking about growing gracefully, but growing in grace. Okay, and just our disclaimer is that we're not professionals. We're just married. So we'll make that disclaimer. So there was and for couples, there's so many great devotions, couples devotions, that you can look at. The internet is just full of stuff like that. What do you think is so important, or how do you feel about the importance of couples, doing that with a daily routine? I don't want to call it a routine, something they do, they purpose to do together.
I think having some form of devotion is good for couples because it keeps us focused, it keeps us united, especially for those that know the Lord. It helps keep us aligned, not only with just the Word of God, but aligned with us both spiritually, so that we can conduct our day and we can declare and decree our day when we're not around each other.
Great. So listen, we're going to go to a quick commercial, and when we come back, we're going to share some scriptures with you and some nuggets about growing in grace and what I call the Philippian love affair, right here on Beyond the Vows.
Hey friends, exciting news. SKST Radio Network has opened their doors to all of the former Praise Radio clients. You'll get the same great exposure for the same rate, sometimes even less. Ready to join?
All right, so we're going to be talking about growing in grace, and there's a scripture that we shared with each other while we were on our little staycation. Mm-hmm. So you want to share that with us?
Philippians 1, 8 through 11, and it says, "For God is my witness, how greatly I long for you all with the affection of Jesus Christ. And this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in knowledge and all discernment, that you may approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense to the day of Christ, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God."
I just love when you read. You can read anything to me. You can read the alphabet to me, and I'd be feeling some kind of way, you know. But anyway, I digress. But this was Paul. This was Paul. Paul had a great affection for the Philippians, you know, and so basically that actually it was towards the Philippian believers, okay, and that's like, what is Christ's affection like? And then you consider his attributes, and meditate upon whether you have this kind of affection for your spouse. Okay, I mean, Paul, the way he felt about them, you know, he I'll tell you what said, that the Greek verb translated affection is used throughout the Gospels. Okay, and but you know, he said, why did he feel this compassion towards them? You know, for a variety of reasons. You know, they were physically or mentally weary, harassed, sick, they were injured, hungry, needing spiritual direction and encouragement, you know, and people mourning the death of loved ones. So his love for the Philippians was so strong, so compassionate, you know. But do we have that same kind of compassion for our spouses?
That's a good question.
Yeah. And how far do we extend that? So, you know, basically our spouses really fall into some of the same things too. You know, despair, you know, mental weariness, harassed, sick, you know, needing encouragement.
But let me ask you a question. In order for Paul to even have that type of concern about or love for the Philippian people, of course he have had to have some form of connection, and that is something that couples must have, is that connection. You as a husband and me as a wife are supposed to be discerning. We're supposed to know what's going on and what the person is feeling. Now, if I'm having a bad day and you don't pick it up, something's wrong, and vice versa. If you're having a bad day and if I don't pick it up, something is definitely wrong. So we have got to align ourselves as couples. We have to, because how am I supposed to know how to help you if I don't know what it is that's going on? And I know sometimes we say, well, I'm not a mind reader, and I'm just not going to try to figure it out on my own. Or I can't help him because he won't say nothing, or I can't help him because she won't say anything. But daggone it, you've been in the house together all these many years and you don't know? Something's got to be wrong with that picture. So you got to check yourself.
Yeah, because when your spouses, when spouses are feeling things, do you show unconditional compassion? You know, so a lot of times it's been easier, and well, I don't know why, but it's been easier sometimes to show more compassion to people who are not in your circle, as opposed to somebody who basically affects your behaviors every day.
Well, why is that?
You know, I mean, and that, you know, because a lot of times people, when folk put on airs, you know, they want to make themselves. A lot of times they want to make themselves look good by thinking that they are the savior to the world, or they have all the answers to the questions that people have, or how they can handle their ills and this, that, and the other. And then you get home and you don't extend the same, compassion and knowledge and stuff to the person that, who really, like I said, affects your life every day, who knows you in and out, and believe me, that's wrong.
So then that's a disconnect.
It is.
So how do you tell them, how do you fix that?
Well, and this is nothing that we call trial and error. You have to be intentional. You have to intentionally know that this person that lives with you every day is at the end of the day, when all these other people are gone, this is your ride or die. This is the person that when you're sick, this is the person when you're discouraged. This is the person that when you're depressed. This is the person when you feel like you have all hope is gone. This is the person that's going to come and try to caress you. I guarantee you, most of the other people that y'all been trying to help and coerce and cuddle and stuff like that won't come to your rescue. And I think that's wrong. I think you do so much for other people, and when you need help, they know where to be found. But that spouse is always going to be there based on those vows that were made. And that's what I'm saying. You got to be intentional.
Intentional in what way?
You got to be intentional.
Intentional how?
I'm saying intentional is a word that shows purposeful. Like you tell somebody,
So you
have a good day on purpose. Have a good day on purpose. Well, I said that means I'm going to make sure that my spouse knows that he or she is the most important thing above anybody else. And that, that's the way things should be. They don't always go like that, but I'm just saying a person that commits to that is all right with me. If I commit to that, then I'm all right with me.
So you're saying that our priorities have to be right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that's the only thing that you're saying.
Exactly.
Is that our priorities have to be right. Because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of times we rip and run, we do things for everybody else, and we're lacking at home. And if that lack continues, then I'm gonna tell you what happens. The enemy already got a foot in the door already, because you opened up the door, because there's no alignment, there's no connection, there's no no type of discernment about what's really going on. And so because the enemy has his foot in the door, then he's going to use whatever he has to play against the both of you. So it's really important that if this is happening in your marriage, that you need to grab hold of what's going on and stop it before it goes any further, because what the enemy hates is marriage.
Mm-hmm.
He hates that. He hates unity. He hates strength, because the more and more we're connected and the more and more that we're together, this is what God uses to help fight against the enemy. He uses that connection. And if Christ is married to the church, which we are the church, and we are married to Christ, then he's not going to do anything to hurt us. He's not going to do anything to allow this enemy to come in to try to destroy what we already have as far as our relationship. So that's the same thing that we have to do as couples. We can't allow the enemy to come in, and definitely don't open up the door so he can put his foot in. Oh my God, don't do that, because I'm telling you, once he do that, and before you know it, you're not intimate like you should be. You're not kissing your spouse. You halfway say anything to them. You're always on the phone with somebody else and never talk to your spouse. That's when those things start to come in, and that starts the separation. Being honest in that, and you don't even recognize it till like 9-10 months later. That's crazy, y'all. We cannot allow this to happen. So we have to align ourselves with our spouse. We also have to check ourselves, because sometimes we do more for outside people than we do for the one that's in the house.
You know what?
That ain't, to me, that's not going to work.
You know what? And the world has taught us that we have to be or extend compassion to those who are in need of it. And it also talks about, and I wrote that down. compassion to those that deserve it. Okay. For instance, a homeless person. A homeless person has done nothing to show us compassion, but yet, because of their situation, we extend them an olive branch or do what we can to help them, but then we don't extend the same, or we withhold that same tenderness from our spouses, you know. And the one thing I loved about God is that He shows us His love, but we don't have to do anything to get it. He just loves us, you know. We don't have to do this, that, the other for God to love us. He just loves us, you know. And whether we deserve it or not, that's His makeup, which is the same makeup. And I love how you, like I said, sometimes we're guilty of withholding tender, loving care from our own spouses because we feel they haven't earned it. I mean, come on, you know. So I'm only gonna love you because you love me, or if you don't show me love, then I'm not gonna show you love. That's not the way this works, folk. Okay, that's not the way this works. Okay, your love cannot be contingent on the love you receive. Okay, you need, first of all, just get yourself in the right position. Okay, with God, a right position, you know, with yourself, because don't you be the one that's guilty of not extending love. Don't let you be the one that's guilty of not being compassionate to your spouse. Don't let you be the one that's guilty of just taking for granted and they're just gonna, you know, you can do whatever you want to do. You know, we're one, but we're also individual. Okay, and when you check your individual self, then your oneness can do marvelous things.
So how does a couple that don't have boundaries, how do they do that?
Well,
because the thing about it is you got to have some form of bound, even though we're individuals, right? But we're still one. So how does a couple do that?
Well, I mean, like I said, you got to be intentional. You know, you have to look at, you know, I don't even want to say they should tinker with the unknown, you know, see how far they can go and see what buttons to be pushed. The Bible talks about staying away from all appearances of evil. So when you live up and up and live, you know, without reproach, okay, without blemish, I mean, we're all going to have some issues, but, you know, when you can identify things that separate you, and, you know, you can't force feed either.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You can't force feed, you know, I'm saying, don't force feed your spouse. Like, remember, you're not a fruit inspector and you're not the moral police, period. Okay. And when you force things on people, they can become resistant to that change. And, you know, when we come back, in a couple minutes, we're going to go to commercial break. There's some practical applications that, like, for instance, we talked about those hard conversations you need to have. Okay. Just blurting out something, you got to figure out, is it going to be helpful or is it going to be hurtful to my spouse? So I think when there's something that happens that doesn't look good, that's the time to sit back, take a breath, and before you say anything, think of 10 great things about your spouse. It may be hard to do, but I'm just saying you don't know until you try. You just think of 10 things that's good about your spouse, and then schedule. We're gonna give you real practical stuff. Schedule a time where you all can talk about the hard stuff, because when it comes up, you know, and then say, listen, next Tuesday, 8:00, I have really something I want to discuss with you. You may even want to give a little bit of the subject matter, you know, so they can be prepared on how to respond. And then you take that uninterrupted time to do that. Okay. When we come back, we're going to talk more about growing in grace here on Beyond the Vows.
Remember, when one door closes, another one will open even wider. Don't let a setback make you forget what's ahead. Speaking of open doors, did you know that SKST Radio now has a spiritual network?
Okay, we're back. Now, there was something that we read when we were on vacation that was so powerful that I really hadn't really thought about it. Remember when we talked about what God did when he put Adam to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
What did he do?
He went into Adam and pulled out his rib and created woman.
Mm-hmm. And where was his rib?
Up under his arm.
Under his arm. So, guys, so this is powerful. It is powerful that God put Adam to sleep, and then he went under his arm and pulled a rib and created woman. So that means the safest place for the woman is under your arms and close to your heart, you know? And make sure your underarms is really good too. But, you know, that was so powerful, you know? I thought about that for a while, that the safest place for her and where she came from. So my thing is, if she came from your underneath your arms into your heart, why would you hurt your arm or why would you hurt your heart? And that's where you come from.
So basically you're saying that God made us from the rib, okay? But also created a safe place for her. Mm-hmm. So you got to think about that, men and women. We have to think about being our spouse's safe place. A lot of times in marriage, especially when we first get married, we don't really understand and know everything that it takes to be married, to stay married, to have longevity in the marriage. A lot of times what we do is we only do what we've seen or what we've read or what we heard or what we thought that is right. But you're not everybody, you're not everything. So some things work better for others than other people. And I'm just going to tell you just like this. Think about your marriage. Think about your spouse. Think about what Christ has done. And then think about, am I my spouse's safe place? Only you can answer that question. I'm not telling you to do anything that we tell you to do. I'm just saying you have to do that for yourself and for your own marriage. Take an evaluation of, are you or am I creating a safe place for my spouse to be? Because at the end of the day, where am I going to lay my head?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, who can I run to? A lot of times in marriages, y'all, sometimes we've been married so long that we become lonely.
Oof.
And when I say become lonely, we don't talk anymore. We don't communicate. We're not interested in speaking how we feel, or you're not interested in hearing how the other feels. That already causes a separation. That already caused division right there. When God says this word, he is not the art of confusion, and definitely not of the division. I heard an apostle said that Jesus's ministry was reconciled, reconciling us back together with God, because sin has separated us. Okay, even in a marriage, y'all, if we allow our arguments to go beyond what they should have, we said some things that we shouldn't have, we got to get it together. We can't allow that to separate us and cause us to be out of whack in our marriage, because it's going to dwindle down to the children, and that's not going to be that's not going to be good. So what I'm saying is, let's get aligned. Let's not let the enemy come in and cause any type of division or anything like that. Get our priorities straight. My spouse is my priority, so I'm going to set boundaries. I am not going to allow this person, that person, to take what I have to do for my spouse. You understand what I'm saying? So if there's something that your spouse don't like, and you address it to them, understand what they're saying, and then carry it out. Because a lot of times, y'all, if we just communicate, that's all it takes is communication.
And your wedding day, is the beginning of love. Okay. And it is not the beginning of decreasing. Okay. And each day you should be growing and growing and growing, knowing, who your spouse is, what your spouse is all about, and then we got God's agape love, that unconditional love. That's what going beyond the vows is, being unconditional, but always be in a position where if there's something that happens, you can be like Christ's ministry, which is the ministry of reconciliation. He was about reconciliation. God gave his only son that we could be reconciled back to God. That was his only purpose. He basically, Jesus didn't come down here to do miracles. It was his thing to do miracles and turn water into wine and do all that stuff. His main mission was to reconcile people back to God, because man has lost their way. And a lot of times in our marriage, we have lost our way because we get complacent. It's just like the thing to do. It's too much, and that's why I really believe, we need to really get the counseling, really understand what you're saying when you stand before a minister or whoever, pronounces you man or right. You really got to understand what you're doing and how it's going to change and affect your life. Okay.
So we are growing in grace. And we're not saying that every day is going to be peaches and cream, because it's not. Not saying that at all, but it's what you do when it happens. If you get in a big argument, what's more important? That you right and somebody else wrong, or that you wrong and somebody else right? Only thing that matters is that y'all get it together. Get it right. Some way, form, or fashion. Somebody has to be the bigger person. Somebody has to say, you know what? I can't allow this to happen, because it's going to continue to separate us. So what are we going to do? You got to come up with some form of solution. You got to be able to be connected. You got to be able to be aligned.
And the devil really wants the negative qualities to cause us to harden our hearts against our spouses. But God wants these to compel us to more earnest prayer, love, grace, and service towards our spouses for the refinement of both partners' characters. The refinement. I like that. Okay? Because like I said, no one's perfect, but our knowledge and more knowledge of Christ and how he lived, and the examples of like Paul, and that's a hard thing. Just thinking about Paul, how he's a persecutor, and for him to come back and to love in the midst of danger, and going to people who he wanted put to death or something. Now he's coming back to talk to them with compassion. That's just the same thing, compassion with each other.
And it also sounds like forgiveness, because a lot of times we hurt each other. It's a given. We hurt each other, sometimes intentionally, and sometimes not intentionally. Um, but forgiveness is what is going to play a big part. And I know y'all trust and believe me, been there, done that. Sometimes forgiveness is the hardest thing, and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to. You don't even know where to start for forgiveness because it's at first it's not in you. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It is not in you. It is not. And if y'all don't believe me, ask your own self your own question. When I'm in an argument with my husband, is forgiveness my first thing? No, you want to get back. You want to clap back. You want to clap back. You want to say what you want to say. You want to roll that neck. Whatever. You want to roll the neck. You want to roll the eyes. You know, you might want to throw something every now and then, whatever the case is.
Say a bad word.
Yep. Some of us say bad words when we get upset. We do. Honest to God, we do. And you know, we're being transparent here, but you know, y'all, we really got to think about that. I know it's not easy. Trust and believe me. I know it's not easy, but that's your first step.
Yeah.
That's your first step.
Yeah.
And then the one that's given, wait a minute, and the one that's causing the issue, you have got to be really sincere in your apology. Because you don't know what you're taking the other person through. You know, if you hurt them, when you said some things, you did some things that you shouldn't have done, I'm telling you, y'all, the pain that comes along with that for the person that's injured, it's more than what a person can sometimes deal with. And it's very hard. So the first thing that they want to think of is pack their bags and leave. You know, instead of making it right. But whose job is it to make it right? The one that's hurt, or the one that got, or the one that did the hurting? You know, so we got to really think about that.
Isn't that thing that said forgiveness is for the for us and not for the other person?
It is, but how? I'm just saying, sometimes that forgiveness don't come right away.
Yeah, and then y'all stop being so hard when the spouse makes a terrible mistake, and I'm telling you, they're in front of you in sackcloth and ashes, you know, dancing in the spirit out their clothes like David did. Y'all stop being so hard. You know, it takes a lot for somebody to say, I'm sorry that I messed up, you know. And that's where this compassion comes in, you know, which we need to do that. So real quick. So here's a practical tip. So when you become irritated by perceived fault of your spouse before saying anything, take a deep breath and thank God for 10 specific positive and praiseworthy qualities of your spouse. Then next, pray for God to convict them about their fault. These not going to work for everybody, but I'm saying you got to start somewhere. You know,
so let me ask you a question. So when I make you mad, do you think of 10 things?
I can think of.
I don't.
I can think.
I don't think of 10 things.
I don't have 10 things. I don't have 10 good qualities.
Let me tell you something.
How many good qualities do I have?
Sweetheart, in the moment of anger, I am not.
I ain't ask you about the moment of anger. I'm asking you how many qualities do I have?
You have some, but I won't not thinking about no qualities
Count
in the moment.
your qualities, name them one by one.
Well, I can't count. No way.
What?
Because when you're in the heat of the moment,
I ain't talking about the heat of the moment. I'm talking about just what are my 10 good qualities?
Anyway, back to the question. Because I'm being real. Because I mean, in the heat of the moment, we're not thinking about how person's best qualities. I ain't think about that. Think about how am I gonna get this nigga back. I mean, I'm sorry. How am I gonna get this person back? All right, that's the only thing I'm thinking about. You know, that's all I'm thinking about. You know, but I think it comes after you calm down because you know I guess a lot of times even when you are in a serious argument with your person. The most important thing you can do is quiet yourself and probably walk away.
Gotcha.
And the reason why I say quiet yourself and walk away is so that you won't say anything that you don't mean.
Amen. So we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit about discernment right here on Beyond the Vows.
Hey everybody, I'm Cammie G. I'm an author, actress, singer, and the voice behind SKST Radio. And right now we're looking for serious podcasters. If you've got a story to tell and a passion for the mic, come join our radio.
So discernment. So it's really important that in our relationships, we have a discernment. And that discernment doesn't mean fortune teller, or we can look at something and know exactly what it is. The discernment is knowing what is hurtful and helpful to your spouse. You know what I'm saying? No, if you know something that you say or something you're going to do is going to hurt your spouse, then you would hope that the Spirit will convict you enough that you don't go down that alley. Okay?
But you just won't do that because you know better.
Right. And
what about that?
Yeah.
It don't always take the Spirit. You just know. It's
well, I ain't talking about a spirit. I'm just saying discernment.
Discernment.
Discernment doesn't have to be spiritual. Discernment means, for instance, if I know I dropped this thing on my foot, I'm gonna break something. So why do something I know that's gonna hurt me? Same thing.
Discernment is when you pick up something from your spouse. Something is either something's not right or something is going on, and you want to make sure that you're good. So that's how you do that. Discernment is picking up on the person when something is going on. Mm-hmm. Now, my own mind tells me to do everything that is right. And when you do everything that is right, I'm not going to have to think about not hurting you because I'm not going to.
Right.
Period.
Right. So, but we all, like I said, we all make mistakes. And,
oh, yeah.
Every time that you are going to do or say something that's going to hurt your spouse. But, we need to take these opportunities to learn to grow together, grow in grace, and we can come out of trials even stronger together, not individually, but together. So, but look, we have some questions. You ready for these? Mm-hmm. Okay. And again, if you want to ask a question, if you interested in being on the show, if you got a concern, something you want us to talk about, write us today at beyondthevows.skstv@gmail.com. beyondthevows.skstv@gmail.com. Again, say it, baby.
beyondthevows.skstv@gmail.com.
Yeah. So we're gonna get a question. So here's a question we have, and it says, "My husband and I have different views about what intimacy is. What are y'all's views on intimacy?" They're getting personal, asking us about us.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Hmm?
Go ahead and answer.
Intimacy. So men have sometimes a different view. You know how they say women are from Venus, men are from Mars. Something like that. Yeah. Sometimes we guys, we have our different view of intimacy. I used to think that intimacy was just like holding and rubbing and twisting and grinding, that kind of stuff, and kissing on the face and this, that, and the other. I think you forget words, intimacy. But as I'm learning from this one here, it's more than just hugging and cuddling and in the barn sweating and twisting and stuff. That it's an emotional thing. Just looking at your spouse, looking into her eyes, with so much compassion and love that she can feel the love just coming through my eyes. There's a song that's out saying, if you could see you through my eyes, you would know how much you love. And I think that's so critical that your spouse should be able to see them through your eyes and know exactly how you're being looked at. You know?
That's good. And intimacy, I'm thinking about being into me. Like
Intimacy into me. That's good.
yeah, like being really into me. So being there for me emotionally.
Dang, you smart.
Well, be quiet. Being there for me emotionally, being there for me spiritually, being there for me financially, physically, all those things, all those things, and those other things that come along, that's good too. But it's a time and place for all things. And that's why it's so important that as we grow in grace, that we have that discernment of knowing when I need to be able to touch him or be able to hug him, to know what he needs, or husbands to know what your wife needs. Because sometimes when you're ready to make love, a lot of times the women are not really ready because they're not there because of the things that they have to deal with. And then it sometimes make you guys a little upset. And vice versa, when women is ready to go ahead and make love to their person, sometimes that person is not ready.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. I gotta brush my teeth. Or just gotta kill the mood.
But it's not really killing the mood. It's about,
are we clean? That kind of stuff.
No, it's a step-by-step thing, y'all. It's kind of like, okay, how did you start the morning?
How you do what?
How did you start the morning leading up to when you know that, man, by the time my wife get home, by the time we eat dinner, put the kids to bed, we're gonna be ready. But what did you do during the day? Did you ignore her? Did you ignore him? Did you not respond to the text when she would put the hearts out and you don't put nothing but a thumbs up? That ain't nothing. Come on here, do something, say something.
You said a thumbs
Act
up?
like something. I'm serious. I mean, because if you're gonna love me, show me, tell me, prove it. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes you think that once you get married, I don't have to prove nothing to you because I married you. Oh, yes, you still do. You still got to pursue me, boo.
You know that song, if you love me, say it. If you want me, show it. If you need me, prove it. Yeah.
You still have to pursue each other.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you still have to
So
that.
listen, so being intimate, intimacy can lead to the act of intimacy.
True. It has to start somewhere.
That's something to remember.
I mean, I don't know if y'all still do something like this, but what happened to like cute little love letters that you'll leave around the house or leave in the bathroom, before she goes to work or before he goes to work, just little cute little stuff.
Yeah, like
that.
leaving your boxer shorts on her side of the bed, something like that.
No, nothing like that.
Well, wait a minute. What's the difference? Now, brothers, I want you to go with me on this. If your wife leaves her panties on your side of the bed or on the floor, men would be like, whoa. But your boxer shorts or your tidy whities, you leave them on there, they'll say, will you please put this in the drawer or put it in? But why can't the men do the same? Why can't we do the same thing? Look, you left your panties on the floor.
I would never do that.
But
that's the thing.
If you do it at night, that means I don't have no underwear on.
Well, that's too much information.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to help somebody.
Next question.
Remember, I'm trying to help somebody.
Question.
Like today, I sent you a message today and said, girl, I miss you. I said, I miss you, girl. Yeah. And then that caused you to, like you said, to think about, man, I just can't wait to get her home. I've been talking to her and, on the phone and this, that, and the other. Just can't wait to see her when she comes to the door. So here is, okay, I'm going to go to this third question. How do we handle boundaries with in-laws?
You want to answer that?
Well, our in-laws aren't living.
Well, before my parent died.
I mean, I set the stage before we even got, I asked your mama. I asked her mother, could I date her? And I think at some point, me and my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, may have been closer to death.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. When it comes to the in-laws, Will has really, he just went all out for my mom. And every aspect of the word, all out. I would be at work, they looking at Color Purple for the 15th time, eating ice cream.
Home Alone.
Home Alone. I mean, all day long. He'll take her to the park. Go grocery shopping or whatever the case is. And that meant so much to me because at the time, my mom had lost my dad, and it was a little difficult for her, being on her own, because she's, when you've been with somebody over 30-some years, it's kind of hard to get back in the swing of things, and then you are a widow and you don't really know what to do with yourself because your kids are grown and it's just you. So it was kind of hard. So we really had to gravitate and pull my mom in, because I didn't want her to be alone, and I didn't want her to feel alone. So with that, and then being there for the grandchildren, that meant a lot. But when he came in the picture and just was able to take on her doctor's appointments when I couldn't because I was working or whatever the case is, I mean, he was doing it up, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, but I think this question that was wonderful. Boundaries, how do we, people set boundaries with in-laws. You got to set boundaries with in-laws, especially, here's the thing, is a wife or husband going to their parent talking about their spouse. Like, Ma, man, she gets on my nerves. Dad, she don't clean, she don't cook. Now they got an attitude with you because of what you have put out to them. So when they start to inject themselves, it's nobody's fault but yours.
True.
You know what I'm saying? But we have to, we don't like meddling in-laws. You know what I'm saying? But meddling in-laws are created by nonsense spouses and husbands and wives that allow that to happen. So you just set the standard. Say, hey, listen, Mom, I know how you raised me. I know you love me. I'll always be your baby boy, but this is my wife now. You know what I'm saying? And you can't insinuate yourself and how you think she ought to treat me. She gonna treat me the way she feels she want to treat me. God put us together.
I do. And then, there are some in-laws that are very overprotective, but then there are some that there's a reason why they're overprotective, because, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, there have been a lot of couples that have been in abusive marriages, and because of that or their history, that's the reason why they are the way that they are. And that is something that even if there's a new spouse to come in, that they will have to really understand. And that's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
It's not, only thing I can say is treat each other right.
Exactly.
Once you treat each other right, and if there's any issues, try to deal with them.
Yep.
Between the two of you. And then if you're not able to deal with the two of you, then you need to think of something or talk to somebody that you can really talk to that don't run their mouth and don't gossip from here to yonder.
Exactly. Well, you know what? This has been an exciting hour that we've been talking, and we're going to deal with more questions. So listen, next week, it will be my last show for a little bit, as I'm having surgery on next Wednesday, and I'm not sure what Honey Bun is going to be doing here to keep you guys entertained, but I know whatever she's going to do is going to be exciting. So listen, join us. Don't forget our sponsor, Deaf Hope Child Go there today. Sponsor a child. And also, don't forget, Beyond the Vows. SKSTTV@gmail.com. Okay? And join us every Tuesday here at the SKSTV Radio Network, TV and podcast studios, where our very capable and the incomparable Cammie Grayson, the cancer, will be waiting on you. If you want a podcast, just call us. You know, that's 757-391-4352, 757-391-4352. And as always, join us. And remember, we're not experts. We're just married. Excuse me while I show my wife some affection. Come here.